Okay, get fired up, get excited. This is the real deal. This is what's going on. I'm telling you about how health and wealth are on two sides of the same coin. Maybe not a revolutionary concept. As a matter of fact, most people that I explain this to, they go, oh, yeah, that makes total sense. And I see why you do it that way. I still want to explain myself, and I will again and again and again until it becomes something that's second nature to me and also gets my point across to the point where I'm able to have a thriving business around this talking point. What do I mean? I mean, I've been in health and wellness for over 25 years. I've been a personal trainer. I have run my own fitness studio in New York City. I had dozens of people working for me and was making a very good living all up until the pandemic. Prior to opening the personal training studio, I had a really great run as a stand-up comic, actor, improviser, comedian, if you will, somebody that threw a really great, I wouldn't say I threw my degree away. I put my degree on the back shelf so that I could pursue something that was purely a passion of mine. I ran off to New York City in the wake of September 11th. And you know, when people stop pursuing their dreams out of fear from a terroristic threat, then the terrorists really have won. And that was the launching pad for me to go to New York, do stand-up comedy, live the dream, book over 70 television commercials, appear on some TV shows, yada, 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 do all of the things that a working actor does, to then come to the conclusion that ultimately I am not going to have financial security ever doing this job unless I hit out of the park home run. And if you've learned anything or seen anything about Hollywood, really, it's nepotism. And, you know, if I really believed in what I was doing, I could maybe hope that I could get my kids into it or their kids' kids into it. And that would be the way that they would become, you know, Hollywood elite. But goodness gracious, what a ridiculous exercise in futility that could also be. So as you get older, you get more principled. You start saying, how can I build something of value? How can I build something that lasts? I opened my personal training studio in 2009 in the wake of the financial crisis. So September 11th, live for your dreams. Financial crisis, try to get a little bit more conservative, a little bit more serious, a little bit more dialed in on what is going to be sustaining financially. I built a thriving business in Manhattan, learned a ton of stuff about how to market and how to make money and how to price things and how to open an IRA for my employees, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's a zillion things came out of that. All the while, since I was 18 years old, my father was a financial planner. I mean, he went into financial planning as a career change in midlife. Not something that I've done officially, but this is where things have led. And that is that looking at the principles that my father taught, that, you know, you've got to make consistent investments over time. You've got to be socking the money away. It's more about what you save than the rate of return that you get. So if I put more money away than the next guy, doesn't matter what his rate of return is, I'm going to be wealthier in the long run because I'm not waiting. I don't have to wait for it to grow. I'm literally in mass stacking cash. Of course, there's limits to that model mathematically, but the principle is there. You're going to need, the more you save, the more you're going to have, because you're not going to put it in a zero interest rate environment. You're going to get something for your dollar and for your time. So that being said, the pandemic hits. The business that I built was, although great, although fun, although something I'm still very passionate about, personal training and personal development and getting in shape, I realized that there was a flaw in the mechanics almost from day one, kind of like the end was built in, simply because the way the margins were set up. I really wanted to try to give a lot to my personal trainers because I was a personal trainer and am, and I know how much it sucks to be paid nothing for your time. So I wanted to really hook them up. And ultimately, when you don't have the margins that you need to sustain a growing business, you know, the slightest tremor in the force is going to send major shockwaves through your business. And that's what happened with the pandemic. We were just not set up to be that kind of business. or to survive, you know, not being able to meet in person for over a year. So lesson learned. Moving on, what I ended up doing was um, working my way back into personal training and back into personal development and coaching. And I had done a stint in some medical device sales. I won't bore you with that, but it was intense and it was also educational, but ultimately left me saying, what else is there in life? And I know what I really like and what I'm really passionate about. And that's the story I'm telling you right now. The reality is, I'm helping people live longer, create better habits, create better outcomes in their life from a health and wellness perspective. And just knowing my father also happened to pass away around this time uh, in 2022. It's already 3 years, crazy. Um, but regardless, here's a guy who had a big impact on my life. I respected a lot, you know, believed in legacy. It's something that's important to me. How do we live on through other people in the decisions that we make? And my father's a big part of my life, and I could also see that he had a major impact on other people's lives through his financial planning. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool? Wouldn't it be great if the principles that I've used to build my personal training practice, which essentially is financial planning principles that I learned from my dad, make the fitness as an investment, put the time in, you know, don't skip a workout, don't skip that deposit. You make that deposit weekly, make it automatic, don't think about it. Make that trip to the gym automatic, don't think about it. Next thing you know, you look back, maybe even a year later, you look back, you go, man, nothing has really happened. I still look the same. You look back 10 years from now, it's amazing. You look back 20 years from now, it's untouchable. And you look back 30 years from now, and it's like, how did this happen? It's like a miracle, the health that you've created and the wealth that you'd be sitting on. And yeah, guess what? Best time to plant a tree was 30 years ago. Second best time is today. Okay, so it's all water under the bridge. The principles apply. The fact remains, we have opportunity in front of us right now to make better health decisions and start building more wealth that will sustain us now and generations to come. Um, I could talk more on this. I feel like I didn't get interrupted by 100 things, which happens sometimes when I'm trying to do these things. So I'm going to post this, and there'll be more of these, meditations on health and wealth coming up. I think the next one I want to do is what is longevity planning, right? Which is different than financial planning, and it's different than just saying, I want to go to the gym because I don't like the spare tire or the flabby arms. All right? Hope you're well. Look for that one. Talk to you soon.